Hey guys, and welcome to Nintendo Everything. I'm Easy, and today we're going to find out what's new, what's old, and what's missing from Super Mario Party. For those of you who don't know, I adore the Super Mario Party series. It's just one of those series that has grown old with me, which is why I'm even more excited that this latest one is getting rid of the car and returning to the roots of Mario Party. But before we get into the roots, I want to talk about what new fruit this tree has to bear. And no fruit is newer than the latest one announced at Gamescom, and that is the new River Survival mode. Now this mode has you and three friends, in a raft, rowing down a river, working together to try to survive the onslaught of bloopers and cheats and rocks and whatever else comes your way. There's multiple ways to go, and you're trying to do it in a time limit. To extend your time, there's actually balloons you can collect along the way, and these balloons throw you into a mini game. Depending how well you do in these mini games, you'll get a rank, and that rank actually increases how much time you get at the end of it. I think this new River Survival mode looks really cool, but it does have me asking a few questions. First of all, do I need 4 people to be able to play this, or can I just get a group of like 2 of us together and have the other 2 completed by CPU? Second of all, the mini games that are in this, are they just locked to this one mode? Because that'd be a bit of a shame to not be able to put them in other modes. And if these mini games aren't going to be used in other modes, then my hopes is that they have more of these River Survival, but other survival maybe, type modes that they can use these mini games in, because I'm sure there's quite a few of them here locked behind this one mode. The next new thing that I have here is actually the first thing we saw when we initially saw Super Mario Party, and that is Toad's Rec Room. Now this is a room where Toad finally gets to vent his frustration by destroying things. I'm just joking. The Toad's Rec Room is basically a spot where you're going to need 2 switches, and that is because you're going to be playing special mini games that are designed to use both switches together. Now we've seen a couple here. We've seen one with bananas where you're trying to move your switches around and line them up so that you, depending on what side they are, the bananas are going to match up. We've also seen one that uses tanks, in depending on where you put your switches, it's going to change the battlefield for the tanks. And I don't believe we've actually seen any more of these yet, although there definitely has to be more in the main game. Believe it or not, Mario Party is actually no stranger to having these kind of separate, different modes for you to play around in. I mean, we had that Bowser mode where you could play as Bowser in Mario Party 10. We had Super Duel mode where you basically made your own tank in Mario Party 5, and we've had the Mike mini games in Mario Party 6 and 7. What makes this different from the other one that I mentioned is that for the first time, just owning the game and the console isn't enough. You need another console or someone else with another console to be able to actually even play this mode in the first place. Now I'm in the lucky situation of a household that already has 2 switches, so it's not as much of a problem, but I can see this being a big problem for a lot of people out there. A lot of people that 1, don't have 2 switches, 2, don't have friends nearby that have that have a switch of their own, or 3, maybe they have a friend nearby but they don't want to, or they're not interested in playing Super Mario Party, this new mode, with them. So while I don't have that frustration, I can understand where people would be coming from. Now, personally, I'm not even sure that I want to try this new mode out too rigorously. The reason I say that is that one of the modes, the banana modes, requires you to shuffle the switches around on the floor. Now, the back of my switch actually got scratched really easily just from putting the screen protector on a little too roughly on the wrong surface. So I know the back of these switches actually scratched really easily. So I recommend if you're going to try it on carpet. And second of all, it requires you to do it as fast as possible, and that has me worried about clanging the switches together, because we already know that the switches plastic is quite fragile because we've already seen cracks in some of the vents in other places. So while I do think this mode is unique, I kind of want to see what else they have in store, so I'm going to be proceeding with caution for now. While we're still sticking with what's new, I think one more new thing was the character dice. Now, I'm not 100% sure on this, so I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments if I'm wrong, but character dice is something that I think is new to this series. It's basically each character has their own special unique dice that you can choose between when you're rolling around the board. This is actually one of my favourite new inclusions into the main board game. It actually adds a layer of strategy into it, because you have characters like Bowser who you can, if you need to roll a big number, you can go 50-50 that I'm either going to lose 3 coins, or I'm going to roll 8, 9 and 10 and get to where I need to go. Or you have like characters who, I think Luigi it might have been, who has like basically a play it safe dice, where he can be like, oh well, I'm only going to roll between 3 and 4s, so I know I'm going to be safe, I'm never going to get like a low number or a high number. I always think the best board games are ones that have the element of randomness, but also the element of strategy, and combine them together really well. So hopefully this does Mario Party some favours. Now while we're on the boards, let's talk about some of the old stuff that's returning to these boards. So first of all, obviously we don't have the car anymore, which is fantastic. Everyone's excited about not having the car. But there's some other cool stuff that's back. We're just back to the basic collecting coins and paying for stars, although stars now are actually 10 coins instead of 20, which they used to be. And perhaps that's because of the size of the boards are smaller, so you're going to be hitting these stars more often. That's what it seems like so far, although we haven't obviously seen all the boards. At least I hope not, because I hope they have a larger roster of boards than they normally do, because normally they feel a little bit light on the boards these games. We also see the return of the hidden block, which is just a block that's somewhere randomly on the map that you hopefully land on, and it has either like stars or coins in it. Lastly, we also see some really cool, unique mini games. Now, I'm not going to go through them all because there's too many here to go through, but that does actually make me want to mention something else about the game, and that's that it only supports Joy-Con. It doesn't support the Pro Controller or any other kind of control methods. Now, I know I'm going to cop some heat for this because 90% of the population is pretty upset that they can't use their Pro Controller and are forced to use a Joy-Con. But for me personally, I don't mind. And the reason is that I hope they find a way to take advantage of this. If they can use the Joy-Con in smart ways with these mini games because it is a Joy-Con, then by all means, make it only playable with a Joy-Con. If they don't, then no, I would prefer a controller or any other kind of control method. My example here is another one that's going to cop me some heat, and that's 1-2 Switch. 1-2 Switch wouldn't have been the game it was and couldn't have been playable with any other control method than the Joy-Con. A lot of these games could only be done with a Joy-Con, and so that's kind of what I'm hoping out of Mario Party. No, I'm not hoping for 1-2 Switch out of Mario Party because, God, I'd cop some hate for that, but I do hope that they use these Joy-Cons in clever ways. That said, the high fives that we've seen so far and the fact that it looks like we're going to have to do this to dice roll, no, I'm not cool with that. I don't think that has a place in there. I don't think it's necessary to force people to move their dice or roll their dice by punching into the air, and I don't think I need to high five at the end of every round, or at least let me do that with a button press as well. That's not cool ways to use the Joy-Con. If the whole game is going to be things like that, then yeah, I guess I would just prefer that they just use Pro Controllers or any control method that you want. But we'll wait and see what we get out of it, because so far it looks pretty promising. I like the look of like the pan flipping one and some of the other ones that you're doing, and honestly, I don't mind having 1 or 2 waggle games like the one that you're doing this, trying to push your bike or whatever as fast as you can.
You got this, buddy, come on, come on.
So that's basically everything, apart from what's missing from Super Mario Party. The first thing that I really think is missing, and this is the biggest thing on my list here, is we haven't seen much of a single player mode. And you're probably thinking, it's Mario Party, why does it need a single player mode? Well, first of all, Mario Party is no stranger to single player modes. A lot of them have some sort of mode that's made for the player to enjoy by themselves. And while you probably think, well, I only play Mario Party with friends, well, don't forget that Mario Party isn't just for you. This game is for everyone that's out there that might want to play Mario Party, including children like I was one day, and that I didn't always have friends around to play Mario Party with. Sometimes I just wanted to sit alone and play Mario Party, and the fact that the old games had a way for me to do that is really good, and I kind of hope that they find a way to put that into this new game. A couple other things that I haven't seen yet is I haven't seen Chance Time, which probably a lot of people are kind of cheering for because that was just the kind of randomness that said, you know what, this person is going to give this many stars to this person, or swap stars or swap coins, and yeah, a lot of people didn't like that mode, to say the least. Although I did kind of enjoy the randomness that it did bring to it. So I'm a bit, I don't know, maybe that can return. And the other one that I'm kind of missing here is I haven't seen battle mini games yet. These are mini games that everyone puts coins into, and then the winner takes that kind of pot away, and second place gets a little bit less than first place. Though it is worth mentioning that Super Mario Party doesn't just give the person who comes first coins, it actually gives them the most coins, but it also gives player 2 and 3, or sorry, second and third place some coins. Now the last thing I have here is what a lot of the portable entries of Mario Party had, and that was download and play. So basically one person could own the game, and then multiple people could download the game from that and all play together. I think that'd be a really neat addition just for people who want to play this Mario Party together, all in the same room, but don't want to have to look at the same screen, or maybe they're not in front of a TV anywhere. Well, that's going to do it for today. Obviously I'm a big Mario Party fan, so I'm going to be buying Mario Party Day 1. But what about you guys? Are you excited for Mario Party, or is something holding you back? Let me know in the comments below, and remember, like button, subscribe button, you to you, and for everything Nintendo. Stay tuned to Nintendo Everything.